like say things that are not adding up, they're going to send you back. I was at the airport for like 5 hours. Okay, Nigerians don't need visa if you're going to be in the airport for less than 12 hours. So the major airlines we have now, there's a new one. Even while I was in the Caribbean, I had to board like 3 more flights to get to the island that I was supposed to go to. Now, the other way I know somebody came recently was from Istanbul to Suriname. Suriname is for, those that are looking to go to either Brazil or Guyana. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Chidominfo back again with another interesting video. Anyways, today is for those interested in my travel related content, how to jackpot and all of that good stuff. So first of all, please subscribe to the channel so that you know when I post new videos. Okay, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, like this video and leave a comment so that YouTube will encourage me to make more of such videos. Anyways, so you guys, I've been getting lots of emails. You know how people come on social media and tell you, oh my god, people have been asking me, like the amount of emails I get from the streets of YouTube. At some point I was like, okay, do I need a PA? Do I need a PA at this point? But another thing I noticed is that most of these emails, they get mixed up in my personal email. So I've decided to create a different email address just for the purpose of, those who are interested in how to jackpot for so many different reasons. Okay, I have people DM me, they're students, people want to come and study in the Caribbean, people want to even come and give birth in the Caribbean. I've gotten such questions because you know how people travel to the US and they give birth and their kids become citizens, but that's like a whole different topic altogether. We're not dealing with that. But in this particular video today, I'm talking about how to leave Nigeria to the Caribbean without having to go through the US or the UK, because I never did. Now, here I have my own flight itinerary with me, how I left Nigeria to the Caribbean and I didn't pass through the UK or the US. So I'll be going through this itinerary with you guys. For those that have been asking me, like this question is the most asked question. How do I leave Nigeria to the Caribbean, or how do I, go for studies or vacation or whatever without having to go through you? Because now in Nigeria, US visa, you can't get it till 2024. There's no date. And I think the UK too, they now delay. So people are looking for other means, yeah? So I get it. But there's something else I also want to touch on, is that I come here to sit down and make videos because I feel like it. Now, some people have DM'd me and they act like they are very much entitled to it. In fact, there are sometimes I advise people and they go against my advice and they start blowing up my phone. I've even made the mistake of giving out my WhatsApp number sometimes to a couple of people via this YouTube channel. I call it a mistake now because I kind of wish I did it sometimes, because some people, they get too comfortable and they just, it's like they start disrespecting you at some point. But we're not here to give bad energy any attention. But my thing is, I have decided, the Igbo girl in me has decided that before I help anybody with anything other than just a basic question, if I have to help you with any form of visa application, if I have to help you sort out your travel tickets, or tell you how to go for, aside anything I say on this channel that has to require me talking to you for more than 30 minutes, 1 hour, chatting, replying you back to back, following you up, you have to pay. You have to pay. And in fact, there's a way people even do it safe, and we even have a price list. Before you come, 1 hour consultation, 10,000 naira, 50 US, like that. We have not 50 US, $20. We'll have price lists. Because, in fact, somebody even went to Instagram to go and drag me and say, I've been DMing you, you did not reply me, you see my message, you ignore. My IG, I don't know what is wrong with my IG, you guys. Sometimes people send me message requests and I don't see it. I had to even screenshot my DM and I showed the guy. I said, do you see any message here? And then he started apologizing. I'm like, sometimes people need to calm down, okay? I get it that everybody's looking for help, but come on, I'm not a travel agent. You're not paying me. That's why we have travel agents. You can go to them. But if I feel like I know 1 or 2 information, because I've been traveling, I've been in the Caribbean for like 7 years, then I would help you where necessary. But don't come at me demanding for information, okay? Let me just put it out there. So please, politely ask whatever you want to ask in my emails. I've gotten some very polite emails. Please keep up the good energy. Don't come for me. Don't any other aggressive email I see like this, delete. I won't even answer you. That's what I'm saying it here. I will not give you attention and I will not answer you. I won't even come and start showing you why I did not. I will not pay attention to people like that again. Okay? Like I said, I'm not a travel agent. People have reached out to me via this channel that I've helped apply for visa. I've helped with a couple of things, but I'm not a travel agent. And from today onwards, money, God pay me. Let's continue. So first things first, you guys, I left Nigeria 2015, and this is my flight ticket. So I left I used Ethiopian Airlines, and I departed from Muritala Mohammed, and I landed in Addis Ababa. So I went from Lagos to Ethiopia. Now, I'm not sure what it is, but I know Nigerians don't need visa to go from Lagos to Ethiopia. From what I know, and from what my friend who is a travel agent told me. Now, I don't know if that applies to if you're actually going inside Ethiopia or if you're just transiting. But I went inside. I spent like 2 days in Addis Ababa. Is it 2 days or overnight? Anyways, I know I lodged in an Ethiopian airport, hotel. So I know I could go inside the country. But recently, one of the people who reached out to me via this channel said something about them holding him back at the airport. Now, this person went against what I told him. I said, before you travel, sort out the rest of your trip. But this person's case is different anyways, because he didn't have like other tickets showing where he's going to and all whatnot. So maybe that's why they detained him at the airport, because they won't let you in their country if you don't have the rest of your flight sorted out. I think this person wanted to be in Ethiopia for a while and then book the rest of the tickets. I know I told him that's not going to work. So I don't know if that's what they're doing now. If you have to get an Ethiopian visa, just transit, because this is what I'm saying happened just last week. I don't know if that is what they're up to. But when I traveled and when I last checked with my travel agent, or the guy who I know who is a travel agent, he told me Nigerians don't need visa. So Lagos to Ethiopia is supposed to be a visa-free flight. Moving on. Now, from Ethiopia, I departed and I landed at Lome, which is Togo. Okay? I went from Ethiopia to Togo. Now, this was just a transit, so it was just a stopover. I didn't even come out of the airplane. We just landed in Lome to pick up passengers and continued our journey. Now, from Lome, we went straight to Sao Paulo. So, I'm guessing that from Ethiopia to Sao Paulo is Brazil. From Ethiopia to Brazil there's supposed to be a straight flight, but this particular flight, the one I came out on, it stopped at Lome. So I don't know if that's what is still happening now or if you can, but I'm assuming that you can get a straight flight from Ethiopia to Brazil. Okay, now, when I traveled, I repeat, times have changed. So a lot of things have changed. Nigeria, okay, let me even quote this before I continue. Traveling as a Nigerian is very difficult because we don't have access to as many visa-free countries as so many other people do. Some countries will not even let you transit visa-free. You have to apply for their visas. So these are the two things I would advise people to do here. Number one, if you can get any country's visa, please get it. Get it before you fly, just to be on the safer side. Number two, call. These people, they are not like non-existent beings. The people in these airports, they are not non-existent beings. These immigration offices, you can actually be in Nigeria and call and find out lots of this information. Sometimes when you call, they might not direct you to the right person, but you have to keep trying. You have to keep calling. I had a friend who transited from London the person was coming from London to Barbados and had to stop at Antigua. I even called for this person. I called and I was told, the guy who picked the call at the airport said he's not sure if Nigerians are allowed to transit through Antigua visa-free. Then one of my friends told me, oh, he transited visa-free. Now, when this person ended up landing at Antigua, he had to pay $100 US. And when he was going back, he paid another $100 US just to transit, okay? So what you can do is, if you're not going to go through the stress of getting a transit visa, carry your money, carry your cash, because some of these countries will tell you to pay for their, visa on arrival before they let you pass, okay? So there's that part. Now, like I said, when I was leaving, I didn't have to use a transit visa. If the agent because when I traveled, that was like my first time traveling. That's 7 years back. So I wasn't really doing anything myself at that point in time. But after that, I started booking all my tickets myself. So I'm not sure if the agent, but if he did got any Brazilian visa, it's supposed to be on my passport, right? But there was nothing there. They didn't stamp any form of visa for us. They just, stamped the whole. But one thing they did was that they searched us thoroughly. I had to show them. They delayed us. In fact, when I'm saying us because it wasn't just me. We were like 5 students traveling at that point in time. So they had to go through our passports. They went through our admission letters. They made sure we had paid our school fees. I think they even called our schools to confirm if we are actually coming to study. So whatever your reason for traveling is, it has to be very genuine. You can't just go to the immigration and tell them, oh, you this, that, and like say things that are not adding up. They're going to send you back. So let's say somebody DM'd me telling me how they've gotten an admission here in Guyana and they're coming to, study, that they're supposed to resume anytime soon, and she's looking for how to transit down to this place without having to use UK and US visa. So I told her to use this route. Now, that kind of person, if you get to the airport and you show them your students, your admission letter, everything, they know you're coming to study. So I don't expect anybody to stress you out. But let's say you're just traveling and you say you're going for, let's say, vacation or something like that. They're gonna stress you out. So it all depends on your reason for traveling. Okay, there's that part to it. You have to be as clean, as as efficient. You have to make sure you know what you're saying. Okay, there's that part. So moving on, you guys. Now I landed at Sao Paulo, and let me see, I landed at 2:50 a.m. and I left. Anyways, I don't want to bother you guys with the time. But the thing is, I was at the airport for like 5 hours. Okay, I spent about 5 hours in Brazil, and then from Sao Paulo, I landed at Panama. I used the Copa Airlines from Brazil to Panama, so it was a straight flight. Now, for Panama, Nigerians don't need visa if you're going to be in the airport for less than 12 hours. If you're going to be in the airport for more than 12 hours, you would need to apply for a Panama visa. That one, you need to show them that you have at least 500 US in your account, and then they'll give you their visa. Which means with that visa, it's going to be like a short stay visa, something like that. Then you can stay more than 12 hours. Now, the reason for this might be that your flight might have a longer layover or something, and you have to remain in Panama for longer than 12 hours. But if your flight is less than 12 hours, you don't need any visa. You just land in Panama and you continue your journey from Panama. Now, in my case, I landed in Panama and I went from Panama to Saint Martin. Saint Martin is another Caribbean island. Now, when I got to Saint Martin, the journey after there is like, the journey has ended, because I was headed to St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the time. So that's also a Caribbean island. Now, the Caribbean in general, they have airlines that they operate with. There's Caribbean Airline, there's now I don't know if I mentioned that Ethiopia Airline was what moved me from Nigeria to Ethiopia and then from Ethiopia to Brazil. Now when I got to Brazil, that's why I switched airlines. From Brazil to Panama, I switched to Copa Airline. Then from Panama to St. Martin was the same Copa Airline. Okay. Now, when I got to St. Martin, like I was saying before, in the Caribbean they have their own airlines that operate. So when I was traveling, we had Liat, but right now Liat is not that functional. I don't know what happened to them. The airline kind of crashed, something like that. So the major airlines we have now, there's a new one, Inter-Caribbean Airline, and then there's Caribbean Airlines. These are like the two major airlines that we have in the Caribbean right now that operate. If you saw the vlog I did, the last video I made, the travel vlog, I used Inter-Caribbean Airlines, a new airline. So what you can do is, if you find a flight from Panama, let's assume that you're headed to Barbados for studies, for instance, or you're headed to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you find a flight that's connecting you from Panama to any Caribbean country at all, take it. Take it, because all these islands, they are networked in a way that you might not find a direct flight from Panama to your location. But you might find one to a Caribbean island that will now take you to to your final destination. Because when I got to St. Martin, I had to take another flight from St. Martin. I landed in Antigua, and then from Antigua, I now went to Barbados. I landed in Barbados, and then from Barbados, I landed in St. Vincent. So even while I was in the Caribbean, I had to board like 3 more flights to get to the island that I was supposed to go to. So the thing is, you need to find out. Now, now this part is totally dependent on where in the Caribbean that you're headed, okay? There are people I know that when they landed in Panama, I think they just took straight flight from Panama to Trinidad, and then from Trinidad to St. Vincent was just one flight. So they just had 2 flights. But me, I landed in St. Martin, and I went from St. Martin to Antigua, from Antigua to Barbados, from Barbados to St. Vincent. So I had a longer, flight. And then if you're not sure about how this connecting flights in the Caribbean works, now that is where you can reach out to the airlines. You can see what options. Just tell them this is where you're headed, and let them tell you what options you have. Now, bear in mind that some of these Caribbean countries, even though you're just transiting, someone reached out to me recently. The person was like, oh, he saw a flight that's going through Jamaica. Should he take it? I'm like, no, bro. Don't do that. Because Jamaica is not visa free. Yes, it's in the Caribbean, but it's not every Caribbean country that is visa free for Nigerians to transit through. I just told you guys about my friend who transited through Antigua and had to pay 200 US. If you go to Jamaica without a visa, you pay 300 USD at the airport on the spot. So you don't want to be throwing money away anyhow. So if you see, let's say Trinidad for sure, I know Nigerians can transit through without paying. I don't know what it's like right now, post-COVID, if they are even still letting people pass through their airports, or if they've opened back. There's a time they shut down and all that. So these are information that you need to reach out to the airline and find out. The airline might not know everything, so sometimes you might have to go as far as calling immigration to find out, or you reach out to a travel agent who deals with things like this, because they might have students that have traveled recently and they know what routes to take. So there's that part. So don't expect that once you get to Panama, your journey has ended. No, for some people, your journey might have just even started, because let's say you're going to St. Kitts and Nevis to study. You might have to travel to like 2 other Caribbean countries, and you might need visas for those countries. So in the situation whereby, let's say, the only flight you can find is going through Jamaica, then you have to apply for a Jamaica visa just to transit through Jamaica. Do you understand? You have to apply for the visa. So these are things that you should find out before you travel, because if you travel, you pay more. And in the Caribbean, most of their visas are like $50. The highest you would pay to apply for any short-term visa might be like 100 US. That's if you pay up to that to get. Some might be cheaper depending on the number of days. So it's better you apply for it, have the visa, and be on the safe side than for you to travel. Because what if you go there and they send you back? I mean, come on, think about it. So you don't really want to take that risk of just traveling. But if you have to, then hold your money, because not every Caribbean country will let you transit visa free. Okay, some of them would. Barbados, for instance, Nigerians can even be there for 6 months visa free. I've explained that in the previous video. So you don't need visa. You can transit via Barbados to anywhere. So which is another thing I would advise here. Barbados is like the hub. It's like Gately Adams is a very big airport, so it's a hub to most of the Caribbean countries. So you would find straight flights from Barbados to most of the Caribbean countries. So if you can find a way to get to Barbados, and because it is also visa free, so you might even have the liberty to rest in the country, maybe after like you land, lodge a hotel, take a shower, continue your journey, things like that. Like countries that would let you come inside without visas, they are like top tier when it comes to traveling, because you can easily lodge in a hotel and take a shower than just traveling 3 days straight. Now, I forgot to mention that part at the beginning of this video. If you don't want to transit through the UK or the US, get ready to become Ajani the traveler, because you shall be traveling. You shall fly. You shall fly from point A to point Z before you get to your destination. That's probably the major disadvantage of having to go through this route. Okay, it's the fact that you're flying for days. It's not like me, I don't like flying. So when I traveled and I was flying for like 3 days, when I landed, if not that I landed and I had to resume school the next day, I just wanted to sleep for the whole week so I can get myself back. So there's that part, and then there's also the part where it will be more expensive. Definitely flights where you have to not pass through the UK, which is one of the major reasons why people look for those transit visas, is the fact that those flights are shorter and less expensive. But these ones, obviously, because you're going from this country to that country to that country, they are more expensive. Now, this is for the routes that I took. Okay, there are other routes. You can go from Lagos to Istanbul. You can go from Istanbul to Panama. And now I'm not sure if those routes, if they still operate the way I'm saying it right now, because like I said, I know people who have asked recently and they're like, oh, they don't operate those routes anymore. So these are things, researches that you have to do for yourself. But there's also the Turkey route. Now the other way I know somebody came recently was from Istanbul to Cuba. He went through Cuba. And then from Cuba, he went to Suriname. Suriname is for, you know, those that are looking to go to either Brazil or Guyana. You can always transit through Suriname, but you also need a visa. So you also need to apply for a Surinamese visa to get to Brazil and then to Guyana, or, you know, vice versa. So let's say you gain admission in one of the universities here in Guyana and you're coming to study, you can pass through those routes, but obviously it's longer here. But it's something that you can try. Okay, especially for most of these countries that have embassies in Nigeria. So you can just go to the embassies, get their visas, and then come down. So that's like another route. Avoid traveling to somewhere that's not visa free for Nigerians without a visa, because two things will happen to you. It's either you have to pay or they send you back. And that is, you've wasted your flight money, your time, everything. You don't want that to happen to you. As I'm speaking to you guys, and I know somebody who's currently stranded at an airport, and the person is calling me, how are you calling me? I already told you what to do. You were supposed to do what? Arrange your flights before leaving. So if you feel like not only you want jackpot, you carry yourself and jackpot without making proper plans, it might come back and backfire. So try not to do that, you guys. Try not to do that. So I'm going to end this video here because it's almost, 20 minutes long. I don't want it to be too long. I just explained how I ended up in the Caribbean to you guys. So if anybody is looking to pass through any of these routes, try and get the necessary visas, and I think it's a doable route. You should definitely find flights that would carry you via this route to the Caribbean for whatever reason it is that you're coming for. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can leave it in this comment, or you can look out for the community post or post on my IG story where I would be, you know, posting the Q&A tags and all that. You guys can drop your questions, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that way you know when I upload new videos regarding this topic. Okay, if I'm asked to, or if anybody is interested in, you know, me making these type of videos again. So I'm going to be ending this video here. I don't know if I'm looking at the camera. I keep looking and I keep looking. I'm going to be ending this video here, you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.